This is Pato Award. His last name's Irish, but his first words were... Pato's the fastest 25-year-old on 4 wheels. He's tasted every kind of victory, except for the lactose variety. Pato looks like a one-man boy band. He charms like a British spy. He smells like burnt rubber, and he doesn't have fans. He's got groupies. So whether you love him or love him, take a look at the next face of IndyCar. This is Pato Award. Welcome to the fastest racing on Earth.
The official IndyCar app, powered by NTT Data, puts the pulse-pounding action of IndyCar right at your fingertips. Never miss a lap with the latest news, highlights, and live race coverage. Track every move with real-time leaderboards, interactive maps, onboard cameras, and driver radio. Your all-access pass to every race, every moment, every day. Download the official IndyCar app now.
Well, it is finally a glorious day here in Monterey and at Laguna Seca. And with first practice this morning cancelled because of the inclement weather, because the helicopter couldn't take off with all of the cloud cover, we now have a perfect day for qualifying. But with no practice having taken place, it means that the drivers go into this qualifying session completely blind as to the changes that they've made to their cars overnight after practice yesterday. This will be a true test for the drivers of the NTT INDYCAR Series. As always, we start off with 2 groups, 10 minutes on track for each group. The fastest 6 from each progressive, then the fastest 12 will be whittled down to 6. And those 6 will fight it out for the honor of pole position at Laguna Seca. First group of qualifying is out on track, and that is your championship leader Alex Palou, followed by Scott Dixon, his teammate who had a spin yesterday. Scott has won at this circuit. Alex Palou has a ridiculous record here. Josef Newgarden in the Astemo Chevrolet spun at the top of the corkscrew. Tough job. Scott McLaughlin to the top, a 109.2, mirroring Pato Award's lap times from yesterday. It's a Penske 1-2 from Schwartzman, Ericsson, Rosenquist, and Herter, with half of the session now remaining. Oh, and it's off again for Alex Palou.
We've been seeing him flirt with that gravel trap, T-Bell, a couple times out of T4, dropping half of that left rear tire off the curb. Not quite enough to catch it, but that time he just got it, and right before that was happening, this is Connor Daly at the top of the corkscrew.
A MPM livery back for this weekend. Connor Daly going in a little too hot and over the gravel on exit. That is now deemed to be cutting. The corner has been for a good 30 years now, ever since that infamous pass of Alex Zanardi on Brian Herter.
Here's our guy, Christian Rasmussen, never short of a highlight. Turn 3, dropping some wheels. Oh, you see the sparking as the under tray skid plate rifled across the exit curb as Palou leaves on fresh sticker soft Firestones. Scotty Mack at a 109.20. That's equals the fastest lap of the weekend. Yesterday, Pato Award did a 109.20 as well.
Already with the fastest time, Scott McLaughlin with the green band around his name, improving already on a 109.2. Josef Newgarden, our second fastest driver.
But if you look down
on his,
if you look down here right now, you've got 2 cars improving to get into the top 6, but I don't know that McLaughlin needs to use them. Better safe than sorry.
Better safe than sorry, especially at a track position, kind of track like Laguna Seca. And, you know, at the same time, this is also telling us teams are thinking this is going to be a hard race, so they're not too worried about burning more softs in qualifying.
No, but I'll bet you if McLaughlin makes the fast 6, he'll be telling us, oh, I wish we had a sticker set to go for pole.
Yeah. Rinus VeeKay almost half a second to the good as he comes down through the corkscrew. This will be enough to transfer him, but you look at everybody down there from 7th down to 12th with the green against their name, with the improvement coming, and he does jump up into 3rd place. What's Newgarden got? 109.3 remains his best. And for Alex Palou, it is the fastest time of the session so far, and the first 1:08 that we've seen this weekend at Laguna Seca. Ericsson now up to 3rd.
That's why Penske went soft. That 9.2 now at risk, absolutely. Look at Newgarden on the bubble. Newgarden just got bumped out. There goes Scott Dixon across the line. He will not make the top 6 there. He'll get one more shot.
Newgarden's on a lap. So is Rinus VK. Rasmussen just flirting with that transfer time. Less than a tenth, less than half a tenth right now as he goes up. Not quite enough, but 3 drivers tracking to bump their way in.
I'm not sure if McLaughlin is going to make the line before the time runs out. He's not. We're down to 0. Laps will count. This lap will count for Scott McLaughlin. 108.9. The best that he's done so far over the night. He doesn't improve. One driver who is Josef Newgarden. So too Scott Dixon. So too Rasmussen. Rasmussen up by a large chunk, and Connor Daly up and now down. It's very, very tight for them all. Newgarden rising up through 10.
Yes, P5.
P5 is going to be tight again.
So Newgarden in for now. Look at Rasmussen though. Rasmussen 0.2 seconds up. Rosenqvist improves to second. Here is Rasmussen on a charge. He's been so exciting to watch this weekend, running up the hill into the corkscrew. The most vital corner on this circuit to get right.
Oh, nailed it. That was a great run down the hill.
Rasmussen to transfer. It's going to be hundredths of a second. Now it's a tenth of a second. Christian Rasmussen jumps up to 3rd.
Nice job, P3.
That was beautiful. He had traffic too with Schwartzman, not immediately in front of him, James, but close enough to disrupt the air. But his run through the corkscrew was sensational.
Look at these lap times. You got Palou almost in his own world at a 108.6, 108.8, 88, 88, 88, 88. It's half a tenth from 2nd to 6th place. Unbelievably tight at the sharp end of this field.
And I was completely wrong about Newgarden and McLaughlin. They absolutely needed that second run to pull it off. That 9.2 would be nowhere close to transferring. And you have to wonder, what was the tire usage up and down the grid? What might we see right now? Let's check it with Kevin.
So the only one that advanced that used 2 sets of softs, Josef Newgarden. McLaughlin, Schwartzman, and Ericsson were the others that started on softs and used 2 sets.
On board with Pato Award. Great to have the driver's eye back this weekend. His objective this weekend is quite simply just beat Alex Palou. Sounds simple, but 2025 has proven that is one of the most difficult things in international motorsport.
And look, he doesn't just need to beat Palou. He needs those big points gaps, the big points margins that come from winning down to 2nd, 3rd, 4th. He needs to win races. He needs Palou outside the top 5 if he's really going to start making some headway and trying to bring this thing down to a shootout in Nashville in a few weeks' time. But so far, he's doing everything he needs to do for the last few weeks, winning in Iowa, winning in Toronto. Let's see if he can get the job done here in qualifying.
All he can control is what's immediately in front of him. Steering wheel and pedals. It's all you got to work with. The rest, it's going to happen like it's going to happen. And the energy I get from Pato Award, talking to him yesterday, is one of happiness and at ease with the way the world is right now. I'm going to do my job. The chips will fall where they may. He wants to win. He knows he's capable of doing that. His team has momentum. If Palou makes one little mistake, like what we saw at Mid-Ohio, or the strategic bad luck that they had at Toronto, it's game on.
Power crosses the line and goes 6th, and a replay here of him going just a touch wide and just a touch slippery.
This is eerily similar to what we saw from Rossi yesterday in practice. Difference just being Rossi's car hooked to the right, put him into the wall.
That was like an oval save.
Yeah.
I mean, that barely worked out for Will Power. Great job with his hands. Could have been a massive crash.
Louis Foster already has 1 pole position to his name in his rookie season in IndyCar. He is now the target time, a 109.4 for him. Power is improving, so too Kirkwood, Ferrucci, Armstrong as Malukas jumps up to P1 and his teammate Ferrucci goes P2.
Kirkwood not improving when you're dropping wheels there off of turn 3. You heard the floor just bottoming out there on that curb as we see one of the
spin up.
Yeah, it's a Devlin DiFrancesco. That's bottom of the corkscrew, I think. That's heading into turn 9.
It is.
Let's see what happened. Oh boy.
Just too much throttle when the right rear was on the green paint there, and it just snapped around on him. He's on the soft tire.
And this is Marcus Armstrong going wide and clattering over the curbing on the exit of the corkscrew.
imagine that would lead to a deleted lap for Armstrong.
Callum Ilott, the first driver going for the ultimate push lap. There he is in the Prema. We pick him up as he rides past the team's hospitality unit on the inside of turn 3, running down now into 4th. Made it through into the top 12, I should say. Last time out in Toronto. Felt he was held up multiple occasions. Felt he should have started higher. He finished in a season high of P8 1 week on from the team's previous best result of a P9. Things starting to improve for Prema in their first season in IndyCar.
Car looks phenomenal. Ilott looking very comfortable, hustling great minimum speed through that sequence of corners. This is an awesome shot with the drone. A little too much of a wiggle. That was like DiFrancesco there. He'll lose time accelerating out of the corkscrew, comes to the line.
Lost maybe a 10th and a half, but it's good enough for 5th as things stand. Will it be good enough to progress? Will Power also on a great lap, and that takes him up to 2nd. So David Malukas leads from the driver that many expect may be replaced by David Malukas next season at Team Penske.
Spoke to Alex Rossi, who we were on board with just a moment ago. He, of course, had that accident in practice. Didn't contribute to the accident, but said he did have an issue with the braking system in practice, so didn't get everything he wanted out of that session. Trying to rebound now, having practice been canceled this morning.
Hey guys, we're not seeing lap times nearly as quick as what we saw with Group 1 right now. Armstrong looks to be on a good one, and O'Ward, but they're not in the 8s like the other guys.
O'Ward to the top, 109.079. With his lap already completed, and he's improving once again. He will have another run at it, sitting on board with Kirkwood now. But Kirkwood sits still, down in 13th place. Alexander Rossi is improving. He's around a 10th better. Checkered flag is out. Times will count. Rossi down the corkscrew. One final chance with the double left-hander, and he's dropped down. I don't think this is going to be good enough now for Rossi. It's not. It's only good enough for 7th.
7th for now. Still lots of drivers behind him going faster, including Rahal, who bumps himself in, and Ferrucci out.
Kyle Kirkwood watching him there in 13th. He is up almost 2/10, so tracking good enough.
What about Louis Foster? I mean, it's hundredths of a second for him. Nip and tuck. Will he make it in? Louis Foster. He's suddenly gone green. He's suddenly found time, and he's suddenly 5th. Pato O'Ward improves to a 108.7. What can his teammate Nolan Siegel do?
Oh, Siegel had it, but he had a bobble in the corkscrew, and that will make the difference. I think he was on track to transfer. He'll go 8th. Here comes Kirkwood.
2/10 and a little wobble. Has he lost the time? And he has. He's lost all the time. He was up 2/10 of a second, but the mistake on the exit of the corkscrew and the run down through 9 and into 10. Game over for Kyle Kirkwood.
2nd through 6th would not have transferred in Group 1, but Pato O'Ward would have been 2nd to Alex Palou. So those are the players this weekend.
Wouldn't you know it? The two guys fighting for the championship top their groups. Palou for Group 1, Pato O'Ward Group 2. These are your 12 drivers then who advance. Palou and O'Ward, your championship contenders. Then the Meyer Shank duo, Rosenqvist and Armstrong. Rasmussen makes it through for ECR. Malukas and Power fighting not just for the best position on the grid, but fighting for the same seat at Penske next season. Lundgaard and Herta, Foster and Rahal, and Josef Newgarden through to the 12. We are down to 12. Those 12 are Josef Newgarden and David Malukas, Pato O'Ward and his teammate Christian Lundgaard, Alex Palou, Will Power, Graham Rahal and Christian Rasmussen, Colton Herta, Louis Foster, Felix Rosenqvist and his teammate Marcus Armstrong. There is your championship leader, Alex Palou. Trying to take this thing out of the conceivable reach of Pato O'Ward, but O'Ward was the fastest in practice. O'Ward has 2 wins in 2 weekends. The momentum seems to be with the McLaren man. But, and it's a big but, Alex Palou was the fastest driver in that first part of qualifying. How will we go for the 12? Power up by 7/10. This an important lap for him to try and get into the Firestone Fast 6. Alex Palou is improving from what is at the moment the 5th fastest time. He's just coming up to the corkscrew. We'll keep you honest from Palou as we sit on board with Power again, fighting the wheel on the exit of 7.
Oh, you can hear the engine start to struggle there. He's almost just fighting a little bit of rear lock.
But that was perfect. He's up about a second. Palou goes to an 8.5, but here comes Power.
So Palou, the new fastest man, Power to P2, but 7/10ths down, and Palou is going quicker again. Rasmussen is fast, 3/10ths up. Lundgaard is supremely fast, and so too Josef Newgarden. Rasmussen into the top 6. Where's O'Ward? Currently down in 11th and not on a good lap. Newgarden makes it up to 3rd, just ahead of Lundgaard. Foster is up narrowly, and makes it to 6th.
O'Ward is hanging back right now and trying to find a gap. Here he is. This is to start the lap right there. Full send right now for the number 5.
How about honorable mention to Rosenquist right now? Only driver in the same zip code as Alex Palou as O'Ward fights a momentary oversteer in the middle of that last corner, and Palou's off in 6th.
Palou is off, but it's one chance and one chance only for Pato O'Ward. And who is that that's gone off? It is Felix Rosenquist. Where is O'Ward in comparison to him?
So Rasmussen will have had to have backed off there. That was Rasmussen going through turn 5 there.
So that'll probably push Rosenquist out if he caused the local yellow.
But O'Ward critically is down 1.5/10ths. Can he make it up on the remainder of the lap? We ride with the number 5.
Here he comes,
in
down
5.
just 700ths.
He's clawing it back. It's tidy through 6. Needs to be maximum commitment up the hill on the blind crest. Under braking now. Turning in hard left. Downhill for Pato O'Ward. He's up, but only just. It's a 1/10 of a second to the good for Pato O'Ward. Through the final corner. Does he progress to the far 6 by 1/4 of a second? He does. He's up to 3rd.
Now here comes Colton Herta. He's 10th, looking to bump Will Power. Herta across the line. He does it.
7, good job, P3.
Very nicely done for Colton Herta. What's Graham Rahal got? Only enough for 9th. So the RLL cars go no further. Neither does Lundgaard or Power. Neither does Armstrong or Rasmussen. But it's Alex Palou, despite an off, who progresses as the fastest driver in the top 12. Then it's Rosenquist and Herta, Pato O'Ward, Malukas. Oh, and we've just seen, has Rosenquist's time been deleted?
Well, there's the issue with Rosenquist in turn 5.
But now watch to the left. You're going to see Rasmussen come by, so he will have had to have lifted through that section, which should, I believe by the rules, mean the fastest lap up to that point for Rosenquist to be deleted.
It is. Rosenquist down to 12th, which means Power gets a reprieve. It's Palou, Herta and O'Ward, Malukas, Newgarden and Power who will go through to the Firestone Fast 6. The drivers then who advance into the Firestone Fast 6. Alex Palou and Pato O'Ward are championship contenders. Colton Herta, who has 2 pole positions at this track to his name. David Malukas impressing once again. And the Penske duo, Josef Newgarden and Will Power. Okay, folks, you know what time it is.
Firestone Fast 6.
That's right. Alex Palou, Colton Herta, Pato O'Ward, David Malukas, Josef Newgarden and Will Power will fight it out for pole position here at Laguna Seca. Palou has topped both of the previous sessions. The fastest times that we've seen in qualifying so far today have come from the championship leader, gunning for his 4th IndyCar title, his 3rd in a row. Can Pato O'Ward stop him? He is now realistically the only driver who can. And a great place to start that assault would be from the pole position. Colton Herta has 2 poles here. Alex Palou has 2 poles here. Nobody else in the Firestone Fast 6 has finished from P1 here in Laguna Seca. Kevin, where do we stand in terms of tires?
So there are 2 of these 6 that are out of new softs. One you're seeing right there, Josef Newgarden. He is going to go to a used set of softs after the banker laps on a used set of hards. David Malukas is the other that's already used 3 softs. But Newgarden, that's a big jump forward. He's going to at least match his best start on a non-oval this season. That was 6th. His last 2 non-oval qualifying performances, 18th both times.
Kind of like the strategy here from Colton Herta, which is don't even bother with a banker lap. Same thing for Pato O'Ward, and I believe Palou sitting as well. No, Palou's out on track. So for these two guys, Herta and O'Ward, why throw yourself off, James, with a degrading tire? And look at the smoke coming out of O'Ward. But these guys are just going to make one run on stickers. That's what they just felt on their last run. It's consistent. They know what to expect. I like that strategy going for pole.
That's power wide. Power wide on the last turn there, having to get out of the way for Palou.
And what does that do? Gives Palou completely clean track once again. Just the oil overfill on Pato O'Ward's car. It's something we've seen from him all the way through this weekend. Nothing to worry about if you are a Papaya McLaren fan. Josef Newgarden sits ready to roll on his used softs. 6 will become 1. We're down to 5 minutes left in the session already. Still no times on the board.
And super important for Colton Herta and Pato O'Ward. Well, Pato's on track now. So for Colton Herta and Rob Edwards, the strategist, when do you send your driver? They will be studying the marching ants, the map that shows every other car on track, and make darn sure you give Colton Herta clean air to notch up another Laguna Seca pole.
Palou coming through to start his first push. We sit on board with Pato. Palou 112.4. That's it's a time, but it's not a competitive time. And Palou has allowed Will Power through. In fact, Palou's on pit lane.
So Palou just went out on those hard tires to get a lap of heat into the brakes, just make sure everything in the car was up to temperature, not do a proper run, because like you said, Townsend, you want the last thing you remember to be that sticker run from Q2. And so now the car's warm, brakes are warm, tires go on, and again, with only 6 cars on the track, I feel like 6 people can find enough of a gap on a racetrack to be happy.
Well, and I think I'd be sending Colton Herta right about now to follow Alex Palou. He's the master of finding a gap, and there we see the 26 starting to roll. So he should be able to now totally control his gap. There's absolutely nobody behind Colton Herta. He can take it easy here on this first out lap and then the prep lap, and know he's got private pavement.
Will Power taking destiny in his own hands, out on track by himself. Great lap, 110.0, but needs more, much more, if he's going to fight for the pole.
He's got a set of sticker softs waiting for him. Now O'Ward, he's getting ready to fly.
Let's ride on board with him then, see what he's got as he runs for pole position here in Laguna Seca. Tidy exit of 11. Running up the hill, needs to get the braking right on the run down into the hairpin at 2. This where you have those patches of extra grippy surface. Lovely job with that. But he's down just as he was in the last session. It was here where he started to make up the time. But 2/10 down already through the opening part of the lap.
Into that compression in turn 6. So many parts of this racetrack.
There he goes, gray 1.0, so that'd be an engine setting on his car right before the timing line here out of turn 9. This will be the full push now from Pato O'Ward. Tires are ready, temperatures are optimized. It's all driver now.
And it's never going to be more physical for these drivers than it is on this lap. Low fuel, new soft tires at a track that's got a lot of fast corners, a lot of banked corners. The G-force through the corner, as you see the time from O'Ward already only a few corners into the lap, massively up on Power's provisional pole.
As we head outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. On
Looking
the
good.
ragged edge. Pato O'Ward, 9/10 of a second up, already running through 4 and into 5.
About a third of that left rear was hanging off the turn 4 curb. That was brilliant. He's up almost a second. and humping through turn 6.
But look behind at Alex Palou, who is a couple of tenths already up compared to Pato O'Ward. These two, the dominant drivers of recent races. These two, the dominant drivers of the weekend so far here at WeatherTech Raceway. O'Ward crosses the line and will have another go if he needs it. It is the fastest time, a 1:08.6. But what has Alex Palou got? He's 3 tenths up as he enters the corkscrew. Needs to nail it, has to be perfect. Mr. Perfect is perfect. Through the final corner and across the line, Alex Palou will go to the top, and that is a 1:08.3. Wow!
But look at Pato O'Ward, now 2 tenths off. I thought he was tracking okay, but it just started to fade. Now Colton Herta having a go.
Colton Herta having a save there. Exit of turn 9 as he crosses the line. Newgarden. That was through that turn 6, so violent in that compression.
Will Power only 2 tenths down on Alex Palou. Could put him ahead of Pato O'Ward. Herta is tracking well as well.
And Newgarden just doesn't have the tires. That used run is going to be tough to make it work. A 9.6, that's why the time is off. O'Ward's doing everything he can, but it's just not going to be enough this lap.
Palou is off, and he is done. Off in terms of his time, not off track. Herta is dropping as well, was only about a tenth of a second away. But I think that will be all she wrote. Malukas cannot find the time, cannot improve. It will be Alex Palou on pole, and alongside him on the front row will be the man fighting him all the way for the championship. Colton Herta just a little bit too far off. Half a second as we come down through the corkscrew. So it will be Palou from O'Ward. Herta sits third. Newgarden actually with a brilliant job to make it up to fourth.
Buddy, great job.
On the used softs. And Power, and Malukas. But it is another pole position for Alex Palou in 2025. His 5th of the season. And a leader who starts from the front row tomorrow alongside the championship leader. Colton Herta starts from the second row alongside Josef Newgarden, then Will Power and David Malukas. The continuing story on row 3.
Going back here, Christian Lundgaard with a nice job. Haven't talked a lot about him this weekend, struggling to match his teammate Pato O'Ward's pace, but a row 4 start next to Graham Rahal, pretty solid.
Scott McLaughlin going to be disappointed to not transfer along with Marcus Ericsson and his teammate Kyle Kirkwood, who was on a lap to get through into the top 12 before a late mistake took him out of contention back on row 9.
Scott Dixon all the way down on the 10th row. Big surprise there. Jacob Abel with a big improvement comparatively for him this season will start from row 11 alongside Alexander Rossi. And then it's Schwartzman, Rob, and Devlin DiFrancesco are bringing up the rear of the field.
Alex Palou looks to continue his season for the ages.
He is an absolute beast.
While the pack try to catch the fastest man on Earth at Laguna Seca.
Incredible!
Sunday at 3 Eastern on Fox.